What would you do if you came face to face with a 10-foot-long, 350-pound killer shark? Yeah, me too. Most of us would fear for our lives, but for wildlife photographer Brian Scarry, he simply points and clicks. Scarry recently swam with one of the most feared predators of the deep, and it was all caught on film. And Brian Scarry, good morning. Great to see you.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
All your limbs and everything's attached. You must be good at what you do.
Well, I hope so, but the truth is these animals aren't anywhere near as bad as they've been portrayed.
Well, the animal we're going to talk about is the oceanic white-tip shark. This is not the kind that we've seen in attacks along beach areas, right?
No, these are pelagic animals, which means they live far away from shore, out in the deep water. They occasionally come up to the surface to feed, but it's considered a blue water animal out in deeper water.
The encounter we're going to talk about, you went out specifically looking for this shark.
Yeah, this was part of a story I was doing for National Geographic, and I was focusing on a number of species in the Bahamas. And I did a 16-day expedition with a friend of mine in looking for this oceanic white-tip.
So you're on the boat and you see one, you spot one.
After 16 days, we only had one encounter, but yeah, I got very lucky.
And you jump overboard.
Jump overboard.
And what are you thinking? What's the plan when you jump overboard?
Well, I mean, a big part of what I do is trying to get in the water and make pictures that help people see these animals in a new light. So, you know, sharks are spectacular. They're beautiful animals. They have great form. So I'm trying to make a picture that, you know, reveals them as something more majestic and less threatening, really.
And we should point out you were scared, and that's a healthy, normal reaction.
Well, yeah, I think having a healthy fear keeps you, you know, on your edge and aware and alert, and that's a good thing. But you also have to, you know, trust your instincts and listen. If something doesn't feel right, you just get out.
Were you in or outside a cage?
I was out of the cage.
You're out of the cage. How is the shark reacting to you now? Was it sizing you up as lunch?
Well, you know, I think at first the animal was curious and came in and sort of checked me out, but then she was very polite. She sort of circled around for a couple of hours in big lazy circles and wasn't really threatening whatsoever.
And we should know this is one of many adventures. A lot of people may not know your name, but the chances are they've seen your pictures. You go away 8 months at a time in the field, extreme conditions, polar ice, you name it, to catch these extraordinary images. What drives you to do what you do?
Well, I started as a young age. I fell in love with the ocean as a child and also had a passion for storytelling with pictures. I remember reading National Geographic as a kid and thinking that being an underwater photographer or a photojournalist would be a pretty cool job. So I set out to do that, and I think that's what drives me today.
But do you actively consider the risks and what you can do? And I mean, do you set limits?
Absolutely. You know, I think I spend most of my time researching and talking to scientists and studying the behavior of these animals, and if something doesn't seem right or is a little bit too risky, then I'm not going to do it.
What creature has fascinated you the most?
You know, I'm interested in so many animals. I love sharks. I love big whales. I'm fascinated by cephalopods, you know, octopus and cuttlefish and squid. I think whatever new story I'm working on at the moment is what I'm most intrigued at.
And back to the shark, we pointed out at the top of the segment, these are endangered. This oceanic white tip is endangered. So part of your mission here is really to portray them in a different light.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of what I do these days is to look at environmental threats to the ocean because the oceans are in trouble. So there's been an evolution in my career where I not only do celebratory pictures but try to talk about the problems. And an animal like the oceanic white tip is 98% in decline. So
your name is Brian Scarry. You get a lot of ribbing about the name Scarry?
Never. No.
Never?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I was going to be the first. Oh no.
No.
Brian,
all my life.
Brian, great pictures. Thanks for coming on,
much.
sharing the pictures and the incredible stories.
My pleasure.